This comes to us from V. He says, dox yourself to adjust the settings on your GPU, you effing that. Can anyone confirm this, by the way? I thought they were selling this just for people who want to watch prawn. And this is a screenshot provided here. It says, what the F? I have to be 18 to use the effing NVIDIA app now? You are not eligible to use this application. Based on the information we have, you do not meet our age requirements. You guys noticing a trend with all this age requirement stuff online right now? It's very curious. It's very curious. Now there's an age requirement on the NVIDIA app, which, okay, before I even go further in this, just to clarify, it may not be a huge deal. It might just be like Steam where you just scroll and choose your date and it doesn't matter what you pick as long as it's older than 18. It just accepts it and it's fine and it doesn't save any data or anything. Maybe it's as harmless as that. Even if that's the case, though, I find it extremely concerning that all these things are getting rolled out at the same time with the obvious repercussions and ramifications of what happens down the road and why are these steps being taken. Because what's this feeling like right now is a step on a staircase towards full-on censorship that no one was asking for and nobody needed, which is why I get extremely concerned about a slippery slope with it. It says, we appreciate your interest and encourage you to come back later. So V says, is this true? Can anyone confirm this? So I was like, that's curious. I'm going to turn into the Grok, is this true guy on this one, because I was genuinely interested. And Grok, of course, comes through in the clutch. He says, yes, the screenshot shows NVIDIA app enforcing 18 plus age requirement, likely for features like GeForce NOW integration, per their policies requiring adult status or parental consent. No doxing needed. It's based on account birth date verification, not public exposure, which is what I was saying earlier where I'm like, maybe it's just looking at a birth date. It's harmless, not going to do anything. Still doesn't really resolve the slippery slope concern that I have, that a lot of people have. The prawn assumption is unfounded. It's for general compliance. And I followed up. I said, when did this come into effect? And Grok said, the age verification in the NVIDIA app tied to GeForce NOW policies has existed since at least 2020. And I was like, oh, okay. That's the case. This is not even a story then because it existed since 2020. No big deal. That's maybe people are just spinning up stories to get on top of the what everyone's talking about to make a big deal out of it. But no, because Grok continues and said, but stricter enforcement appears to align with the UK Online Safety Act's age check requirements. Effective July 25th, 2025, this may explain recent prompts for users. To which I had to come back and say, I wanted to be fair on this. I didn't want to imply bias, so I gave both sides. I said, is there a good possibility that this is the beginning of a more dangerous, slippery slope of censorship, or is it harmless? And Grok says, while the UK Online Safety Act's age verification aims to protect children from harmful content, which I got a bridge to sell you, it risks a slippery slope towards broader censorship. Critics, including the EFF and privacy advocates, highlight privacy invasions via ID checks and potential for expanded surveillance, with VPN usage surging. And which, by the way, we covered the other day, how we have internet service providers supposedly now shutting down VPNs as the next step in the process. So, yikes. Surging and petitions exceeding 340,000 signatures. NVIDIA's enforcement is compliance-driven, but could normalize such controls globally, far from harmless. And this goes back to what we were talking about with the Stop Killing Games campaign, which how Ross was starting with the idea of we're going to go to the UK first because we have the ability to impact there, and they're a big enough environment and business area where if they make laws and rules for gamers there, then those laws most likely, not guaranteed, but most likely, because a game takes time and effort to make, will be adopted worldwide so that the developers don't need to make 4 different copies of a game to go out to 4 different regions. They're just going to take the most harsh laws that they need to put into it and then just make the game for that region and then spread it to all of them, because why make a different game? So that was Stop Killing Games' idea. But it turns out the bad guys also realized that idea with the UK petition with the Online Safety Act, saying, okay, if we can push this through in the UK, then we can get it to spread throughout the entire earth. Globalization. The World Economic Forum comes into play here. The United Nations comes to mind as well, which we've talked about before. In addition to all this, all these people, I firmly believe, have very dark, sinister, evil intentions for full world domination. And I'm not talking like a James Bond villain or Austin Powers evil bad guy. I mean, these people are real life evil villains that just consume power and that is insatiable. They just want more and more power as they go. Matt Beyond said, send me a selfie and your sexual preferences to the government every time you want to look at prawn. It's for the children. We promise this will never be abused for blackmail purposes, unlike that island where we literally pimped out children for blackmail purposes. Grok replied, your sarcasm highlights valid privacy risks with age verification under laws like the UK Online Safety Act. While NVIDIA's prompt is for GeForce NOW compliance, not prawn specific, broader mandates could enable data abuse, which again, I'm going to say this till my face turns blue. Every time I get the opportunity, I'm going to take a step back and say, this is why I strongly oppose a universal token ID system. Because as soon as that gets implemented, it opens people up for data abuse, where the data that they can find on you gets monetized, and they want to consume more of that. They want to find out more about you. And it can start out so harmless. Just like what Aspen Gold is trying to say, oh, it's just to verify it's you. It's not going to hold any information. It's literally just a token that is that person. It's just a number, just like a social security number. There's nothing that identifies you beyond that. And then what happens after they add a rider to the rule and then add a law to it and say, well, actually, now that we're able to find everybody, we have a system to locate every single person. It's very easy for us to now add on why don't we just add on where they're located so we can get better demographic information and this kind of information. It's more accurate. Oh, and are they married? Do they have kids? What kind of car do they drive? It's going to go down that road. That's how this always happens. That's why people are saying Asmongold could say it's inevitable. I could say, I'm going to fight this to the death, bro. It might be inevitable, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to lay down and take it. Like, no, this cannot happen. This is a very, very dangerous, I'm screaming from the mountaintops, very dangerous precedent to be set for society, to just lay down and accept a token for the world to just embrace. You're only looking at one side of that coin. You're not looking at the darker, sinister side of it. The world is perfectly functioning right now without that. Just think of, with that, how dark it could get, how quickly the United States specifically would turn into North Korea. And that's not even a leap. That's what's scary about it. It could happen in our lifetime. Like, I'm not even talking generations down the road. I'm talking like within the next 10 to 20 years. That's how fast this stuff happens. It's crazy. As seen in historical scandals, Epstein's Island exemplifies blackmail potential. Governments aren't immune. Stay vigilant. VPNs help. VPNs absolutely help. You know, when you hear ISPs, internet service providers, and the stories of them blocking VPNs way out of their jurisdiction, shouldn't be allowed to do that. But here we have them. Oh, it's for your protection. It's for your safety. You should not go outside of this bubble that we have created for you because it's dangerous out there. Just consume the information and the news from the 2 organizations that own every news organization in the entire world. Just trust Just trust those two news organizations. Don't listen to anybody else, because then we can't control a narrative. We want to bubble you. We want to inject what we want you to think so that you agree with us and you vote to everything we want you to vote for. That's the world they want to create. It's pretty obvious. Anyone that can think for themselves sees that for what it is. It's like, yeah, I don't want any of this. That's why I keep going back to the whole take from Aspen Gold. Like, bro, what are you doing? No, do not go down that road. V says it's real. Dyblik says the whole ID thing in the UK has been used on basically everything but prawn. It's strictly for censorship and control. Funny. So for the things that they say it's not for is what it's being used for. Weird. V says, are there prawn websites you can still access without doxing yourself? Allegedly, quite a few. Only the biggest ones were blocked. 99% of what's blocked has nothing to do with prawn and is strictly the prime minister and parliament being totalitarian asshats. Which anyone in the UK that's watching this, I would love to hear the other side of it, because I'm always about hearing both sides. I have not heard anybody from the UK say they stand behind this and what the prime minister is pushing forward. Every single comment I've ever gotten is saying that guy's a complete jackass asshat. Every single time. I know very little about him except for what they're pushing forward in the UK and trying to make world domination with. This is like legit a Bond villain bad guy movie plot right now that's happening in real life. Nobody likes this guy. I don't know how he got voted into power, if they even do that, how they're even pushing these laws forward. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, Britain and the EU are heading toward civil war, almost unavoidable at this point. I do wonder, by the way, because you're not going to know there's a civil war until it's like halfway through it. And you're like, oh shit, there's actually a civil war happening right now. Oh man. But yeah, crazy. So shout out to V for the heads up on this story. And sure as shit, yet another situation where age verification is just a harmless, hey, we just need to make sure you're old enough to check notes. Make sure you can access your GPU. What? It's like, this is like a scene from a comedy movie. How is this real life? This is insane. Oh man, but I'll leave that there.